Trump is saying now, because remember, when he first started this, he said, you know what? We don't have nothing to do with this. We didn't know that it was going to attack you. We didn't have anything to do with Israel bombing Iran. We don't have anything with their military leaders dying. We don't know nothing about that. Don't touch no American. Don't point a gun at them. Don't put a knife on an American, or we going to shut this down. That is what Trump said from the very beginning. Now, Trump was at an event yesterday, and they asked him, apparently, I haven't seen this yet, they asked him, what are you going to do? What are you or aren't you going to do when it comes to Iran? And do you plan on taking any military action against them? This is what he said.
Mr. President, have you given answered questions about whether you are moving closer, or you believe the U.S. is moving closer to striking Iranian nuclear facilities? Where's your mindset on that?
I can't say that, right? You don't seriously think I'm going to answer that question? Will you strike the Iranian nuclear component? And what time exactly, sir? Sir, would you strike it? Would you please inform us so we can be there and watch? I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate? I said to the people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country. It's very sad to watch this. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's so, everyone thought it was going to be the reverse. I didn't think so. And I was telling them, you gotta do something. You gotta negotiate. And at the end, last minute, they said, no, we're not going to do that, and they got hit. Remember 60 days, and then came the 60. 61 is going to become a very famous number. That was one hell of a hit. That first hit, that was one hell of a hit. Not sustainable, to be honest. That's where it ended. It ended on the first night.
We thank you for.
You're telling me that after what he just said, that the United States of America, listen, this is what he said. This is what he said. He said, listen, why didn't you guys negotiate with me? 60 days, on the 61st day, y'all got hit. Why didn't you guys negotiate with me? 60 days, he said, at the last minute. Here, I'm going to play it for you again for the people in the back, because a lot of people may not have heard it, and I hear things a little bit differently than everybody else. And this is what he's saying. This is what he said.
Mr. President, have you given answered questions about whether you are moving closer, or you believe the U.S. is moving closer to striking Iranian nuclear facilities? Where's your mindset on that?
I can't say that, right? You don't seriously think I'm going to answer that question? Will you strike the Iranian nuclear component? And what time exactly, sir? Sir, would you strike it? Would you please inform us so we...
Francita, do it look like I'm caping for Trump? Are you listening to the words that is coming out of my mouth? Are you paying attention to what we having a conversation about? Are y'all just talking? Democrats are y'all are insufferable. Y'all are the most miserable, insufferable people. Thank God I don't do it for y'all. Thank you, Jesus, I don't do it for y'all. Y'all are the most insufferable people that I've ever met in my entire life, and I don't understand why. Let me play what he just said.
We can be there and watch. I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate? I said to the people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country. It's very sad to watch this. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's so, everyone thought it was going to be the reverse. I didn't think so. And I was telling them, you gotta do something. You gotta negotiate. And at the end, last minute, they said, no, we're not going to do that, and they got hit.
At the last minute, it's starting to rain hard in here. At the last minute, he said that they said, now this is what Trump is saying. Trump is saying that at the last minute, Iran said to them that they did not want to negotiate, and then that's when they got hit. that sounds to me, again, like we already knew. Now, I can't put anything on Trump to say that he did or he didn't know or anything like that. But that sounds to me like we knew what was going to happen. And because they decided that they didn't want to come to the negotiating table, that then it was authorized. And this is why we now in this situation. And this is why they're in a full-blown war now. That's what it sounds like to me. I could be off. I'm always open to the possibility that I'm wrong, but it sounds like we knew, because there's no way that Israel would know that Iran decided that they wanted to walk away from the negotiating table at the last minute, and then we just start targeting. We knew specifically where all of their military leaders are. We knew exactly who the targets were. We knew where all of the leadership was. We knew exactly where the bombs hurting people and all of this stuff. And you're telling me that Israel had this level of intelligence and military operation to be able to carry this out without the assistance or help from the United States of America? I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I believe we knew the whole time. And I believe that this is absolutely, positively within our purview. Do I think that we are a part of it? No, I don't think that we may or may not have authorized it. I can't say that. Do I believe that we knew what was going on? I 100% believe that we know everything that's going on before it happens. And are we supporting Israel? Well, let's go over to it, because this is now what's happening at this point.
Here's a look at where U.S. forces are in the Middle East right now. In the Eastern Mediterranean Sea, there are 3 destroyers in the Red Sea, and then there's 2 destroyers, in the Red Sea. And in the Arabian Sea, there's the USS Carl Vinson carrier strike group, including an aircraft carrier, 3 destroyers, and a guided missile cruiser. And heading to the Middle East right now from the Indo-Pacific Command, the USS Carl Nimitz carrier strike group, including an aircraft carrier and 3 destroyers. They just passed what's called the Malacca Strait, a passage between Indonesia and Malaysia. And the number of American troops in the Middle East right now, approximately 40,000 U.S. forces total. In Iraq, there are about 3,000, and in Syria, about 1,000. CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson tells us how the Pentagon is framing the additional movements here.
The Pentagon is sending additional forces towards the Middle East amid the ongoing conflict between Iran and Israel. Those additional forces include more fighter jets, refueling tankers, and a second carrier strike group. The second aircraft carrier, the USS Nimitz, was always expected to head from the Indo-Pacific towards the Middle East, but is now going, quote, without delay, according to U.S. officials. And that carrier will add to the naval presence the U.S. has throughout the region, which includes destroyers with ballistic missile defense systems that have, along with ground-based defense interceptors, been helping Israel defend itself by shooting down incoming Iranian missiles and drones. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth yesterday in a statement said that the additional movements were to enhance the defensive posture to protect some 40,000 U.S. forces that are in the Middle East. But U.S. officials also tell us that those same movements also provide President Trump with options. Should Iran decide to attack those U.S. forces, or should President Trump decide to join Israel's ongoing military campaign?
Yeah, man. I don't believe that we authorize it. I think that somebody said it in the chat beautifully. They said that I believe that Trump just sidestepped and said, okay. I think that we could have stopped it. I don't believe that we did stop it, and I believe that we stepped aside and let Israel do whatever it is that Israel wanted to do. And I think that this was always not only a part of the plan, but always the level of intelligence and the level of insight that was provided in the immediate hit of all of these people. It's very difficult for me to just turn a blind eye and say, you know what, we didn't know nothing. Soon as the second military leader came in, he was dead the same day. 4 days later, the second military leader that stepped up, he died. I think that we're making an example of Iran. I think we're making an example while at the same time preserving our own military might as far as our own soldiers and stuff like that. I don't want to see any troops on the ground. I do not want to see anybody get involved. And I just think that we knew. 100% I think that we knew. I don't have any intelligence. I don't have any inside information. Absolutely, I believe that we knew, and we might even be supplying intelligence over to Israel. I don't think that they have the same level of capability or anything like that, but somebody must be getting some sucky. Something got to be getting. The only time that you could tell me that somebody is this closely in line with somebody as an ally, the way that we are with Israel, is somebody got to be getting some head. Somebody got to be getting some head, bro. You not going to sell me on the idea that everybody is just confused and nobody knew what was going on. And we just, oh man, we was at the negotiating table. They decided to pull away from the negotiating table and then they got hit the next day. Man, get the hell out of here, bro. Same night, somebody getting some head, bro. Ain't no way in the world I'm going to be that aligned with you and you ain't doing nothing for me and I ain't getting nothing out of this. Get out of here, bro. Somebody getting some head. That's the only way it makes sense to me. Make sure I hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. I don't know. I think in terms of breaking it down from a C student's perspective,